Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. I'm your host, Ross Benjamin, once again joined by my astute colleagues, Mr. Sean Higgs and Jesse Schule, all three of us of gamblersWORLD.net, along with 7 other great handicappers. Gamblers World is our sponsor, and we like to thank them for bringing this show to you and allowing us to do this show for them. And if gamblersWORLD.net is where you'll find all of the handicappers I'm referring to, including us three. And it's there where you get our guaranteed picks. If you don't make a profit, you don't win on a single game, multi-game, daily package, or any subscription plan of 30 days or less, we will credit your account back the exact amount of your purchase price. And you can use that any which way you like on anybody you like and at any time you wish. All right, gentlemen. Sean, how are you?
Pretty good. Ready for I finally won some baseball yesterday, so I'm happy about that. So.
Yeah, 3-0 day for Sean Higgs. Like I told him yesterday, it's about he's due to kick ass, and he's off to a good start. 3-0. I mean, talk about brilliant minds thinking alike. We had two of the 3 plays for both of us were identical. So, no, we didn't confer on it. But it's always nice, Sean, when you have the Padres -1.5, and it's a 0-0 game going into the 9th, and you get a 2-run homer.
Never in doubt. See, that's because you're like on a 17-1 run.
Yeah, and those things go your way, right? You know. So I mean,
if that would have went down, that would have been my fault.
Yeah, I catch a push.
Things are turning.
Yeah, exactly. I catch a push on Baltimore Tampa Bay game where the Rays score 4 in the bottom of the 8th to make it a 6-2 game. I get a push on that. And again, a 2-0-1 day for me. I don't count pushes on my record. It's like it never happened. You get your money back. Why even, these sites to put up the pushes? Who cares? It's avoided play, So it's, come on. Yep. Anyway, is anybody really happy to get a push? I was happy to get a push last night because that was like a win because it looked like a sure loser. But anyway, enough about me. Jesse, how are you?
I would have taken a push yesterday. Sounds like Ross the boss and Moneybags up there did quite well with baseball yesterday, but not me. Was on the wrong side of it. Big J had a big L yesterday in Major League Baseball. But looking forward to more football tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow night, the 49ers and the Giants, a game we won't be covering on this channel.
And that's just no shame on the loss yesterday. I think Faves went 12-3. I had a run line game, a little fave, and then a total. So, I mean, that's a day I could have got destroyed. Like, if that day's in June, I'm having a 2-6 day or an 0-7 day maybe when they go 12-3 to favorite. So
yeah. I had the over in the Nats game with a rookie starting opposite Jose Urena. So I was expecting runs, and they didn't come.
I figured over in that.
Yeah, well, I saw a couple guys had the over in that game, 4-3 final score. But hey, it happens. Jesse's track record is proven. And again, he's off to a terrific start in college football. His NFL record has been impeccable, especially in the month of September over the last couple of years. And Sean, again, 64% in the NFL last year. He's hovering around 500 right now, Sean, in the NFL, which means that he's going to he's due to go on.
Yeah, I think I'm like 16-14 or something like that.
16-14. Okay. All right. You're making a small profit. So bottom line is it's a small profit's better than a loss. You know what I mean? So, and again, it's early. So we've got a lot of football yet to be played. 16 more weeks of regular season action plus the postseason. But today we're going to be talking college football. Jesse's going to be looking at the Ole Miss and Alabama game, which I know he alluded to yesterday. He's looking very forward to analyzing that. And we're looking very forward to hearing his analysis and his pick on that game. Sean, Auburn and Alabama, an intriguing SEC matchup. Auburn right now undefeated. I'm not sold on Auburn. I know I'm going to get people coming out of the woodwork yelling at me, but it doesn't matter what I think about that game. It matters what Sean thinks. And I'll be taking a look at Penn State and Iowa, 2 ranked teams right now. Penn State is actually number 7 in the country, and Iowa 3-0, but just number 24. And I'm not sure that they're deserving of that ranking even. But again, we'll see. They'll have their opportunity to show up against Penn State on Saturday. Anyway, guys, let's start with you, Jesse. The Alabama and Ole Miss game. Ole Miss right now is a 7-point underdog in this contest against Alabama. And I know, like we talked yesterday, a lot of love being shown toward Ole Miss. And, everybody can't wait to kick Alabama when they're down. And they're down because they're 2-1. Take away that loss against Texas and the other two games, they really haven't been inspiring, to say the least. Last week's win against South Florida was totally uninspiring. The quarterback room, it's musical chairs, Jesse. But again, Bama minus 755.5. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, you mentioned that everybody's likes to kick Alabama's ass, and everybody's really leaning on Ole Miss here. Hey, nobody likes beating Alabama more than me. I did have Texas winning outright in week 2 for my game of the year, but that was a different situation. I think Texas is a better team than Ole Miss. I think Quinn Ewers is a better quarterback than Jackson Dart. I think the style that Quinn Ewers plays is more problematic for Alabama than the style that Jackson Dart plays, as evidenced by the fact that Dart played them last year and lost at home. He threw for 267 yards, a couple touchdowns, and an interception. He was sacked 4 times. I've got strong opinions on this game. Not that it's going to lead to a strong play, like a game of the year type of play, but I think the public's dead wrong. I think anybody who's looking at what happened with Alabama last week and down on thinking that you're going to just roll into Tuscaloosa and steamroll the Tide, I think that's a pipe dream if I ever heard one. And being so high on Ole Miss, I really caution folks that listen to these shows and listen to other handicappers talk, and they bring up advanced metrics, advanced analytics, and they start talking about yards per play, and this team's averaging this many yards per play, and this quarterback's doing this. I mean, those stats can be useful at certain points in the season, but when you scored 70 points against Mercer in week 1, I don't give a damn what your yards per play are, because clearly skewed by the fact that you scored 70 points against Mercer. In fact, I would throw out that game entirely when analyzing Ole Miss. The game that I think is the key is their game against Tulane. And I know Ross had Tulane plus 7.5 in that game. I liked it. I defended that play because a lot of Ole Miss fans came at you, Ross. Fact of the matter is, Tulane at not only did their backup quarterback play that game, but it wasn't announced until right before the game. Bit of a surprise. And Tulane was winning outright in the 4th quarter. Ole Miss scores a bunch of late touchdowns. There was a fumble recovery, so that the scoreline was skewed. What appears to be a decent, really what is Ole Miss's only decent win, was fraudulent in my mind. And then last week they give up 474 yards to Georgia Tech. Haynes King throws for 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions on 28 of 41 passing. Speaking of quarterbacks that weren't very good in the SEC, Haynes King was terrible for Texas A&M. And for a guy like that to throw for over 300 yards on your defense, it doesn't say a lot to me. Coming into Tuscaloosa thinking you're going to beat Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide, I don't think so. I think Alabama still finds a way to win this game. If it was still, it opened at 6.5, or there early on this week there was 6.5 available. I would have loved to grab one of those. My official play is Alabama, and I'm going to suggest waiting it out, see if more money comes in on Ole Miss, and you can grab a 6.5. I expect it to be a low-scoring, fairly close game, but my money has to be on Alabama here.
Alabama minus 7 over Mississippi, and Jesse does make a great case. And again, when you evaluate teams in the early season, and Jesse brings up a great point, and I'm glad you did, Jesse. What I like to do is I really, like he said, throw the games out when they play an FCS opponent, because chances are that's going to be a very misleading game stat-wise. FCS opponents, for the most part, when they play a FBS opponent, let alone a Power 5 team, they're going to get dominated the majority of the time. I want to know what they did in games against FBS opponents, and then still look at the quality of competition in which they face. And, it's Sean, it's like when I used to go to the harness track as a kid, and my one friend was a very astute harness racer, and I'd look at the program and I'd analyze it, and I'd come up with a pick, and he would say, Ross, when it comes to harness racing, you have to be there. You have to see the race, because a horse you're seeing right now that finished sixth in the last race might have been boxed in, might have got out of the gate slow. You just can't look at the final result. You got to look at everything that's occurred. And Jesse Bright telling you about that Tulane and Ole Miss game is a perfect example as such. Anyway, your thoughts on the game, Sean?
Yeah, I thought this game would be a double-digit opener for Alabama. I mean, the summer lines to kind of adjust on whether NFL, college football, especially the bigger schools like this. And this was a 16. So I'm thinking, all right, they look bad, probably 10 or 12. I mean, open at 6. You have to take Alabama based on that. I think Alabama is still 10 points better here, regardless of the quarterback problem. I mean, the kid Milrose, I think Jesse said, we were talking about it. I think there was more than just whatever's going on. Maybe it was some kind of punishment. He didn't even get into a game where they couldn't do anything. He's back. And anytime I get to minus not laying double digits at home, it's almost like an autoplay. I mean, until somebody beats them, like especially an Ole Miss team. This is not a Texas kind of squad or Georgia or LSU. They're not on that level.
No, especially defensively. And, the old saying by a lot of people is my memory's good, but it's short. That doesn't work in sports betting. If you had a short memory and you're just going by what you saw the week before and overreacting to it, not the best policy when it comes to picking winners consistently. Right, Jesse?
Yeah, no, I think it's important to realize it's not just the result, but how you got to the result. And I think that's often overlooked by too many people.
Absolutely. All right. Auburn and Texas A&M, a game that will be played in College Station. A&M right now, a 7.5-point home favorite against a 3-0 Auburn team. The total 51.5. Sean, I'm not sold on Auburn. How about you?
Keep this kind of short and sweet because I think I'm having some connection problems. But also, I don't want the Auburn people to come hating at us or hating at me again because we liked them. We liked Cal in the points, and they came out hating. I'm going to take A&M here. I mean, Jesse brought up the good yard for play and playing smaller schools and putting up points, 45 on Samford, 59 on UMass. I mean, it's one thing if you're in a spot where it's, all right, it's a look, you got a bigger game on deck, you kind of mill through. You don't really put credence in that. I don't put credence into the big 50.
All right, Sean's having
14
some
points.
technical difficulties,
And
folks.
if anything we know,
yeah. All right, Sean, start again because you're freezing up. We apologize, folks. These kind of things happen because of internet connections. But go ahead, Sean.
All right. Well, I'll just keep it simple here. A&M, later points. A&M finally has an offense. They have talent. They've put up, 47, 52, 33 against Miami on the road. We saw 14 from Auburn against Cal. We liked Cal in that spot here. I will lay the 7.5.
All right, Jesse, your thoughts on Auburn and Texas A&M?
Yeah, I think what Sean was trying to say is that it's, Auburn hasn't really played anybody. The one game they played a Power 5 team, they just barely escaped with a 14-10 win over Cal. So it's hard to have much faith in Auburn. 7.5 is a bit high for me. I'm not dying to get to the window on Texas A&M, but if I'm giving out a lean, it's to Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean, again, the level of competition. Auburn is, like Sean tried to touch upon before he kept breaking up, unfortunately, was Sean's point was they played UMass, Cal, and FCS team Samford, not Stanford, even though maybe Samford might be better than Stanford this year, the way it looks. In any event, I can't get carried away. I had Cal against Auburn as a free pick on our channel. And Auburn barely escaped with a 14-10 win. Cal missed 3 field goals in that game. Outgained Auburn. Auburn had less than 300 yards of total offense. and now they're going to go into College Station against what I would consider a desperate A&M team who's already suffered a loss this year against Miami of Florida as a favorite. But they got a clean slate going into the SEC. So, I have a lean toward A&M in this game. But like I said, just a lean at this point. And again, we're hoping we get Sean back into play. If not, me and Jesse are going to hold down the fort. I'm going to look at Iowa and Penn State. As I alluded to earlier, Iowa number 24 in the country, Penn State number 7. That goes at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm seeing 14.5s and 15s out there. So just keep that in mind. Again, folks, we are recording on Wednesday, the 20th. This game doesn't go for another 3 days. So depending on when you view the videos or podcasts, I should say, these lines are subject to change. Both of these teams 3-0. Here's the thing. I just broke it down real simple. Penn State's offense is way better. I mean, Iowa was held to 235 yards in their win against Iowa State and 286 yards in their home win, 24-10 over Utah State. Not very inspiring results, okay? And their other game was against an FCS opponent. So they obviously, as always with Iowa, has played very strong defense, and that's carried them to a 3-0 record. Penn State has gained 378 yards or more in all 3 of their contests. Penn State is a +7 turnover differential. They've yet to commit a turnover through 3 games, while Iowa is at even in terms of turnover differential. Iowa also, they've allowed 37 points in the first 3 games, and Penn State 35. So like I alluded to, Iowa has played terrific defense thus far, but so has Penn State. So it breaks down to this. If the defenses are awash and one offense is better than the other, that's where I'm going with this. Penn State, better rushing attack. They average 208 yards per game on the ground. Since December 5th of 2020, the Nittany Lions, as a favorite of 10.5 to 21 points, are a perfect 11-0 straight up in ATS and winning by 25.7 points per game. And that includes last week's 30-13 win versus Illinois as a road favorite of 14 points. So I'm going to go with Penn State here, Jesse. I'm going to lay to 14.5 with Penn State against Iowa. If you get a 15, that's fine too, folks. I like Penn State here. I like them big by at least 17 points. So, Jesse, your take.
I'm going to look at the total here, Ross. 40, pretty low number. I'm going to keep it simple. We've already seen James Franklin choosing to opt out of the kneeling victory formation and running in touchdowns to run up the score. And, as much as I hate to see stuff like that, at the end of the day, when you look at the committee and the college football playoff rankings, they incentivize you to do such things. So yeah. I won't blame them because of that. And then you got the offensive coordinator on Iowa, clause in his contract. They're supposed to average 25 points per game or he's fired. They're probably not going to score 25 in this game, but if they want to maintain the ability to average that throughout the season, they're probably going to need 14 in this game. So they're going to be going all out to get that, even if the game's already lost or the game's already decided. There's something left to play for that offensive coordinator. To push the number over 40, could I see it being 28-14, 28-17? Absolutely, I could.
Yeah, what Jesse's referring to is earlier this season, Penn State ran a touchdown in from the 5-yard line with 5 seconds to go in a game they led by double digits, and they could have knelt on the ball and played the game out, but they scored. Backups were in the game, by the way, just to touch upon that, because sometimes they like to let the backups have their due time and quality time. But ironically, that raised a lot of eyebrows in the sports betting world because Penn State covered the game because of that touchdown, and they also went over the total on that touchdown, as I recall. And Jesse, we haven't brought this up, but I'm really scratching my head in that Rams game this past week against the 49ers. I don't know if you watched the end of that game, but the 49ers were a 7-point favorite. They closed as. They were up 10. And the Rams were somewhere around the 23-yard line of San Francisco with 4 seconds to play. Okay. What does McVay decide to do? Kick a field goal on the last play of the game to make it a 7-point game. It absolutely made no sense to me because you're not going to have you can't return an onside kick for a touchdown. I guess you want to get your special teams work. I don't know, but that sort of put people in an uproar as well. In any event, any comments on that, Jesse? We failed to talk about that. Yes,
that one didn't affect me, but I got to say I'd be pretty upset if I lost a game on something like that.
Well, I had a free pick on the 49ers. It affected me a little bit, but it wasn't a part of my premium package. But boy, if I had a big play, a big bet on the 49ers in that game, I'd really be in an uproar. In any event, those types of things are why people get into this conspiracy theory stuff and the scripted stuff and all that kind of stuff, which is malarkey. But I guess McVay had his reasons. I scratch my head at why. Anyway, Jesse, tell the folks what you may have coming up this week. And I know you're on a nice college football roll to start the season. Go ahead, my friend.
I got a Pac-12 game of the year going off on Saturday. And I also have a big play in the SEC. I've got a full card of college and NFL already posted. Feeling good. Week 4, a ton of great matchups. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to this Ole Miss Alabama game as well. And I'll be cheering for Alabama, even though I probably won't have them on my premium card. But certainly looking forward to all the action.
You noticed that smile on Jesse's face just as he was getting into his analysis. It's because Sean is back. And I'm smiling too. Hey, buddy, we missed you for the 5
I'm not here to show us 20 minutes shorter. Go figure.
Anyway.
So did you guys see that they've given us new nicknames in the chat, in the comments?
No.
Ross the Boss, Moneybags, and Big J.
Yeah, I like
Nice.
it. How about it? Hey, I don't think anybody has a problem with that. It's
take
better than Mo, Larry, and Curly. So.
Lord knows I've been called a whole lot worse than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably my family
SEC fans have said much worse about me.
Yeah, Sean, we were talking about that Rams and 49ers finish where
I caught it. I was watching. I was backstage. I think I was getting the okay. Like I was good.
Yeah.
I listened to the end of yours thing, so I haven't had a spin. But yeah, McVay kicking a field goal. I get again, find a good number because it opened at 6.5 and closed at 7.5. So there's that. But also, if you think he's thinking about the point spread, I think he's like, I got to get points on the board because these guys just kicked our butts. I'm just trying to put a point on the board, and that's that. I don't think it's anything more than that. The gambling people think like they just find gambling in the last year or 3, and they think the whole thing is around them. Like, look at this. This is the craziest thing ever. Bro, I saw a guy return a freaking onside kick for a touchdown before. It was a Niners-Arizona game, 20 years ago. They ran. That's when you could run the ball back. He ran back a touchdown. I thought I had a cover. No.
Yeah. Well, my point was is if you make the field goal and there's still, let's say hypothetically, there's 1 second left on the clock, the kicking team could not return a onside kick for a touchdown. It's a dead ball right at the point of where they pick it up, even if they're not touched. So
you mentioned that Penn State game where he punched it in late. I'm with you on Penn State. I think they beat up on Iowa there. I mean, 2 good defensive teams, but Penn State's got an offense this year.
Yeah.
And my thing, I was kind of listening to. I came back trying to get back in last time, and Jesse was talking about what I said about the Auburn team, and they haven't really played much. They didn't look good against Cal. Tough road stadium to play and stuff like that. So sign me up for A&M if you miss my play there.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Sean likes A&M -7.5 over Auburn. Jesse likes the Alabama Crimson Tide to shut everybody up, especially the critics. He's laying the 7 against Ole Miss. And I'm going to take the Penn State Nittany Lions minus 14.5 over Iowa. Sean, anything you want to add in terms of what you may have coming up? I know you're off a 3-0 night in Major League Baseball. And folks, once that engine gets revved up with Mr. Higgs, watch out.
Yeah, I'm like a bowling ball rolling down a hill. Get out of my way, literally and figuratively. I know about baseball. Like baseball, I kind of look at yesterday. Usually, I put stuff in ahead of time. Yesterday, I put in probably around this time, around lunchtime. I'll see again. The lines. We'll see what happens. But NFL, I got NFL up for Thursday. College football weekend, stuff like that. I'm all about the NFL and college right now. Playoffs right around the corner. How about Acuna going 40-60? He's a home run away. Wow, great season by him.
Absolutely. Great season by the Braves in general, even though they've sort of gone to sleep a little bit of late. Their pitching has left a lot to be desired. But again, they're playing with no urgency right now. They pretty much clinched the division back in July, for crying out loud, for all intent and purposes.
Yeah.
And anyway, 2-0-1 yesterday for me in Major League Baseball. So basically a 2-0 day. And that puts me on a 17-1 all sports run, folks. I'm not making it up. I know we make fun of some of the handicappers out there. One gentleman in particular that likes to make up records and thinks there's no checks and balances, but there is checks and balances for me. 17-1. It's documented on every site that I post at, including gamblersworld.net. If you go to our personal pages, you'll see the list of all the games we've had in the last 90 days. Also, 17-1 all sports run, including 12-0 in football last week, 7-0 in college football, 5-0 in the NFL. In Major League Baseball, 6-1 over the last 7, 39-21, 65% since August the 4th. Things are going extremely well over the last 6 weeks for yours truly. And folks, you can get my annual subscription plans in college football, the NFL, college football, NFL combined, as well as these two gentlemen as well, who have a long history of winning in both college football and the NFL. You can get that at gamblersworld.net. And don't forget to check out our plays there every day. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll see a WC logo on the bottom right-hand corner of your video box. Stands for Winner's Circle. Just click on that, and that'll get you subscribed. If you're on your mobile device, you see a black subscribe button right underneath your video box. Click on that. That'll get you subscribed, and I'll ask you to do one step further once you subscribe. And if you subscribed already and you want to know why you're not being alerted when our video or our podcasts go up on our channel, just go into your settings, and there's an alert notification bell there. Just click on that for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, and you'll be notified immediately upon any of our videos going up on the channel. And we'd like to thank all our subscribers. We've had a ton of new subscribers over the last month. And folks, without you, this show isn't the success it's turning out to be. And our channel doesn't grow at the rate that keeps it going the way it is right now. Jesse, there's a like button underneath the video box.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. Just like smash those picks that we play or put out. And also, that's just a small token of your appreciation for the work, preparedness, and effort we put into this podcast on a daily basis, as always, to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. Until the next time, with these two gentlemen, which will be Friday morning, we'll be going live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Don't forget that, folks. You can chime in with all your questions and comments, and they'll be answered immediately. Not like the archives where when we get to them, we get to them. Your opportunity to speak out, ask questions, comment, whatever it may be. And we really would appreciate your participation in that. And I'll be back tomorrow with Doug Upstone and Kyle Hunter. We'll be talking more college football. Until the next time, for Jesse Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.